Modern problems require modern solutions. How can you possibly click heads if you don't have 1,000 hertz with which to do it with? That's where the Acer Nitro XV273U F5 gaming monitor comes in. It does 1,000 hertz, but you actually don't see that anywhere on the box. We got 500 hertz here. We got up to 540 hertz here. And I do appreciate that because while this monitor is capable of 1,000 hertz, it does so at 720p. Which is quite low. Thankfully, it's no slouch. It's a 27-inch 1440p monitor at up to 540 hertz, which is pretty dang cutting edge and exciting if you ask me. The good news is that if Acer's claims are anything to go by, this thing isn't a slouch in the other departments too, with a delta E of less than 2 and pretty good DCI-P3 coverage. We'll have to evaluate that a little bit closer later. First, let's unbox it. We got our instruction manual. We have a nice little white HDMI cable, 1.4 meters. That's shorter than I expect. There is no DisplayPort cable in the box. It seems crazy to me not to have one considering the absolute crazy frame rates this thing's gonna hit. We also have our external power brick. That's not my favorite. I way prefer internal ones. Just extra cableage behind my desk that I don't like. And then we have our stand, and it's made out of metal, so it has pretty good heft to it. Should hold the monitor just fine. Ooh. Decent thickness. Nice understated aesthetic, I don't hate that. We're also working with our barrel jack for power. We got 2 HDMIs, 2 DPs. That's actually pretty nice. And then an audio out, and that's it. No USB pass through, no KVM switching. That's okay. On the bottom, we have our buttons, 4 matching ones, and then a little navigation nipple. I am not the biggest fan of having a bunch of buttons on my display. I sort of just want the navigation nipple and everything to be on screen. It's not a big deal. The longer you have a product, the more you get to know it, but you know, preferences are preferences. On the back, we have our VESA 100 by 100 mount, and that's it. It's a bog standard display. It's hard to like really point out anything in particular. That's so exciting about it. So that's why we want to plug it in and find out after we tell you about our sponsor.
XSQUARE. They're speeding up automation with Wall B, which breaks away from normal pre-programmed rules. It's an embodied AI model that is able to learn and adapt instantly to changing work conditions. Like this example of one of the arms rescuing a box just in time before it was sorted into the wrong chute. When XSQUARE challenged themselves in a live stream, their robot sorted 1,816 parcels in an hour with 98% accuracy, more than 500 additional boxes compared to their average competitor. They also build full-size robots for logistics, not just robot arms, both of which use 6-axis articulation. Learn more about XSQUARE using our link in the video description.
It does pivot 90 degrees if you want to use it vertically. And because it's an IPS display, the viewing angles aren't too bad. Last thing to test is our height adjustment. That's actually a pretty broad range. I'm standing up, so I can't get it quite as high as I want, but if I was sitting at a desk, I think pretty confident in that. That being said, I don't love the way that mount is attached. Feels kind of flimsy. The whole thing kind of feels good enough, but something to be a little bit disappointed by. But you aren't buying this monitor for its monitor stand. You're buying it for that 1,000 hertz, baby. Let's see how that looks. Okay, I teased you guys again. Before we get to that 1,000 hertz, let's actually look at this OSD. Over here on the left, we have our DFR, where we can enable our 1,000 hertz mode at 720p. We don't want to do that right now, so we're going to keep it to off. Then we have our brightness. It's actually nice that it's so easy to access brightness settings. Sometimes monitor menus are so bad, and it's like 6 options deep to find friggin' brightness. Stop it. Stop it. Labs actually measured a brightness of about 500 nits in SDR, which is, it's okay. You're not going to be, you know, enjoying that crazy HDR content, but for a 1,000 hertz gaming monitor, that's pretty cool. Thank the Lord we can turn off the auto source, because I find that so frustrating when the monitor thinks it knows better than me and is gonna go looking for freaking inputs instead of just letting me set it to the one I know it's freaking plugged into and getting the input right myself. Okay, stop that too. Look at this, we got our game assistant. We can turn on our cheat modes that put a little crosshair right in the center. I ain't no cheater. First, we can turn VRR on and off. We can show the refresh rate number. We can turn on overdrive, which I am not a fan of. I don't like that sort of leading edge ghosting. And then advanced wide mode. Is that just like gonna crop the screen a little bit? Yeah, you might have a use for that. That's not for me. Then we have auto contrast management. We can turn our HDR on and off. Whoa, HDR 600, brother, look at this. Then we can turn up super sharpness. It's on by default. I really Don't want that on by default, but I'm curious to see how that does. And then, most importantly, in informations, we have our factory reset. Pretty good on-screen display, I don't hate it. And now that we have a video playing, this actually looks better than I expected. It's not gonna give you the really poppy HDR and bright saturated colors of something like an OLED. I'm finding that the highlights here are sort of peaking and then hitting a sort of beige gray limit that doesn't look super appealing. The saturation is pretty nice without over cranking it. The color separation actually looks pretty good. Like those greens look pretty good. The motion looks bad, but I think that's the video. So why don't we play a game and see how the motion actually looks in action. We're actually gonna try at 540 hertz, the native resolution of this panel. What should we play first? We actually had the best luck getting 1000 hertz in Shadow of the Tomb Raider in that video. That being said, they were cranking that 9800 X3D to 6 gigahertz. We are not gonna be doing that to this poor 9950 X3D. And so it's quite unlikely we'll actually hit 1000 hertz. There's freaking speakers! We just played a video, there was no sound! Okay, so it has speakers. That's pretty cool. Okay, now for the most important test. I can already tell you, not good. Sounds real tinny. The bass is completely missing. But as I said, you don't use monitor speakers for that. They're just sort of a troubleshooting thing. So I appreciate the convenience of having it, but there we go. Let's change our settings to maximum low so we can get something close to 540 hertz. You know what I'm saying? Okay, we're not getting our 500 frames. We'll go to another game for that. But initial impressions, I can tell the input latency is about as good as it gets, and that matches pretty close to our labs testing. Motion clarity is very good. Like I can see clear lines even in this mess of trees as I move through. It's still an LCD, so I find it like, it doesn't look as good as OLED moving, but that's the kind of sacrifice you have to make if you want 500 hertz, I guess. We swapped to the correct Tomb Raider where we will be able to get over 1000 frames. And I gotta say, this looks bad, but it looks better than I would expect from an IPS display. I actually think that the contrast is fairly appealing. The colors look good, not overblown too much to my eye. And then even at the 540 hertz, this motion clarity is pretty dang good. Like there's a lot of detail in the background. All this detail in the bottles, I can still see them clearly. Although they advertise a 0.5 gray to gray response time, we measured it a little bit slower, even on their ideal settings, but it's still a very fast performant LCD panel. I'm impressed at the motion clarity at this resolution, so I wanna see if I give it the best fidelity, how it's gonna look. We're gonna run the benchmark in Cyberpunk 1440p Ultra, no ray tracing, just to get an idea of how high fidelity gaming will look. The colors are okay. It doesn't really pop off the screen, neither the green nor the red. It's still an IPS display, so color is not gonna be its greatest strength, and in our labs testing, we sort of saw that. Not only does it kind of overshoot the color sometimes, there's a red shift across everything that you could adjust away from. In terms of clarity, I think that the pixels per inch is fine, but even at this close, I can appreciate the difference between 1440p and 4K, although this is totally fine, and if you were used to this, there's nothing wrong with this. However, it's far from the best that I've seen both at the size or price range. Another thing to note is the viewing angles are better than something like VA, but they're still not ideal with the colors sort of washing away the further to the side you get. Let's do what this thing was really meant to do and rip it to 1000 hertz. We got 1000 frames, it's pretty cool. Yeah, the motion clarity is out of this world. Like you can see the candles so clearly even when you're moving, like almost to the point where I'm like, is it even rendering it right? But I can see each flame super clearly. So that's very, very impressive. That being said, we're pushing this game beyond anything you could possibly imagine at the time. So it's impressive, but really, single player stuff is not what you want to do. So let's play some CS2 and see what some other people think too. CS2, 720p, everything low, no upscaling. I chose a small wingman map so that we can get our highest chance at frame rates. We're around 800 frames, so not quite 1000. One obvious strength of a monitor like this is input latency. We measured it at just 0.2 milliseconds over theoretical perfect, and as we've seen in that LTT video where we measured how much input latency affects gaming performance, every freaking millisecond freaking matters. In that sense, this can give you the edge. The motion clarity is still out of this world. The problem is, to get this kind of frame rate, you have to compromise so severely on the visuals that in terms of competitive edge, this could actually kind of hurt you. You could definitely get distracted by the extra jaggies or the random sort of softness in the world. It's why most games, when you have competitive settings, there's actually some settings you turn up a little bit to have it be very clear what's what. It's not the monitor's fault, it's me trying to get 1000 hertz, but why don't we get some other people's opinions? In order to compare, we're gonna have our Acer over here, and then we have the Legion Pro 27Q10, an OLED monitor that has up to 280 hertz refresh rate. So technically less good, but also it's OLED, and it's the same price. And I wanna see what people think and which one they prefer.
Well, okay, the thing is, the human eye cannot see above 30 FPS, so making
So
these
true.
is a fool's errand.
So true.
I mean, the motion clarity feels really good.
Yeah. What do you think of the colors?
They're okay.
This looks like a 3DS game.
That's 720p for you, baby.
Wow! It looks bad at 720.
In terms of motion clarity, it does feel nice and clear. The colors are a little bit muted, does seem to be a bit red shifted.
But the fact that you do have to play at 720p is definitely a bit of a compromise that I'm not sure I would be okay with long term.
Do you want to try at the 540 hertz mode?
Yeah, sure,
1440p?
let's do
do
that.
it.
Let's do that. This is a way better experience, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that the 720p mode is just so that they can call this a 1000 hertz monitor.
Yeah.
But even they don't. The box doesn't even mention 1000 hertz.
Oh,
I would pick this mode 100 times out of 100. Do you want to try versus an OLED?
Give it a little swap.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Every time I switch over, this looks worse and worse.
Yeah, no,
Holy.
the colors are way better on this.
So much better on the OLED.
Immediately, 500 times better. Wow. Something redshift. I don't know, whatever the hell Pancras was saying, but
He was right.
it looks so much better.
And everything's kind of soft. Like, it looks like there's almost like a fog filter over everything.
I do
when I compare it to
notice
that one.
a difference in the refresh rate. Like when you're moving back and forth a bit, you can see a little bit of a change there.
Okay, I can actually see a major difference. Like if you whip yours, yeah, there's way more blur.
Yep.
But I wonder, would I notice that if I hadn't been looking at this before? Because I'm like used to lower refresh rates? Like,
No.
would I even really clue into that, or is it because I just saw that?
I think that's the strength of doing a comparison like this, is you get to appreciate the strengths and weaknesses of both monitors. One of the trade-offs with LCD to OLED, LCDs can push higher frame rates, but the pixel response time on OLEDs is better. And so even with the lower refresh rates, it can actually appear clearer in motion. If these were the same price, which monitor would you pick?
Same price.
Same
Which
price.
monitor? What's it called? Like, I think I would probably go with the right one.
Okay.
If I knew the specs. If I didn't know the specs, I honestly a toss-up, in my opinion.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting. I did not expect that. Let's
Yeah.
see what the next person says.
I would not buy that, is what I'm saying.
Not for that
I'm
monitor.
not even saying I would buy this, but I would not buy that.
Between the two monitors, every day of the week, I'd go that way.
The motion is not as clear, but like the
Everything about it
the
looks better,
colors,
yeah.
the fidelity of it, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd rather buy this.
Me too, brother.
Oh, that was weak. Oh god. I'm
I think it makes it really hard to recommend the Acer monitor unless you're someone that is willing to play at 720p and make that compromise, and getting 1000 hertz really blows your mind. I think in the next couple of years, we're gonna see more and more monitors that can push that kind of refresh rate. And in the meantime, I think the color, motion clarity, as well as just the sleekness of OLED, when you can get them for the same price, is way more appealing. There's OLED monitors that go up to 500 hertz now, and you can get them for very similar prices to this. And if you're willing to have a refresh rate similar to the Lenovo, you can get them for like less than $500. There's a Core 4K monitor, and I'd probably pick that over this. I don't think that the jump past 360 to 520 to 720 to 1000, there's just diminishing returns, and I'd rather put that investment towards something that gives me the complete package. Just like that time that we unboxed the Alienware 27-inch OLED. That can be had for $350. I think you should go watch that video. It's pretty good. Thanks for watching.